Okay, so I guess the last video cut off at about 11 minutes. It might get cut off somewhere. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to test that I haven't actually done yet is testing the power of the spring and how quickly and how powerfully you can unload BBs. So I guess if you're running a high-speed P90, you're going to want it to be able to dump the magazine pretty quickly. So I believe this speed loader holds the exact 68 rounds, because it did come with my Marui, and I believe somewhere around exactly right. I mean, pretty much all of these magazines are going to be able to hold. Hold all of the rounds and then empty all of the rounds when not under any load. But it's a matter of, at the end, how powerful the spring is. So that, I mean, it empties it. Didn't sound like it's unloading particularly fast, but I mean, it took about less than a second, I'd say, which means that you could easily be running, assuming that your gun can do that, you could be running, what, 60 rounds a second and not have any issue with completely unloading the magazine. You might not be able to actually keep up with the loading nozzle. So, this one's the Marui. I guess the speed loader holds probably around 70, 72. Anyway, load it up. Not quite sure. Probably about similar to the Echo one. Sounded like it was forcing a little bit harder. It was a little harder to push in, forcing the BBs in, I guess, presumably from a stronger spring. The Echo one seemed a little weak. And now we're going to have the mag 170 rounds, so I'm going to have to fill this up about 2.5 times. So I believe these are 0.25 gram Bioshot. If that makes any difference in terms of their slickness or size. So I don't believe I made a conclusion in the last video, but if I had to sort of put these in all of the P90 magazines in order, taking into account externals and capacity and general usability, I would probably rank the mag midcaps as the best, given their high capacity, or somewhat high capacity at 170. I don't think it likes like this speed loader likes forcing this many in. That was probably about 140. I'll fill this a little less than halfway. because I'm not quite sure exactly how many rounds I've put in there. I have heard that the P90 magazines need the spring broken in a little bit, but as you can see, probably about 170. Okay. So if you notice, it has BBs double stacked, loops around, kind of like the original P90 magazine, or the standard capacity, except the standard will stop at about around here, because it's saving this extra loop. There it is. So it's saving that extra loop that's running right under that groove for the space to the fake bullets. Let's see. No. Anyway, the standard magazine just loops around here, comes back here and stops. There's the spring guide in there. So, here we go. The mag unloading. Unloads pretty much all of BBs pretty easily. Nothing left. And I can't really do the test on the high capacity magazines because usually when you let it go too fast and it's not actually feeding one at a time, just unloading, the spring just unwinds and doesn't seem to work. Anyway, so what I was saying with the sort of a conclusion is that I would put the mag as being the best overall, has a decent capacity, no winding, very durable, pretty good externals, I would say. Most similar to the Classic Army. Slightly different color, but more of that texture compared to the Tokyo Marui, which is a little glossier. And then, so I would put the mag at being the best. I would say the high caps, the Marui and Classic Army, have performed about similarly for me. Seem to work pretty well. And the quality of the externals, I think, is much nicer than the ACM and Echo 1, which I would put at third. I guess the Echo 1 with that rattle, with that fake bullet, and just the creakiness, the overall general quality. Let me test something. Just comparing the different magazines. I believe I tested this one just to see if the springs, if that one just had a slightly weaker spring. And I'm coming up on about 9 minutes. Oh, and I guess last place would be the R9 magazine. Yeah, that definitely doesn't feel like the spring is very strong either. That almost seems like it was unloading slower than the first. And let's see if I can do this in 30 seconds before I hit 10 minutes. 20 more seconds. 10 seconds. Didn't feel that much pressure against me, so. And and I think the spring jammed. Oh well.